The game is up. Dion Burton has 2 in the twinkling of an eye, and Charlton's miserable season is ending on a high. 3-0 up in half an hour. Meantime, at Plymouth, Norwich's predicament only worsens.
Cross looks header. Oh, Duguid and Fletcher confused each other there. Now Macken. On for Hamill, who's shaken off Gallagher and found the bottom corner. Barnsley are on terms. It's Hamill's first goal for the club, and what a time to get it.
Well, there's some decent gallows humour going around at the Valley. The chant is, if you're going down, stand up. And as soon as it was sung, the whole ground stood up. These two are going down together. And there is precious little Brian Gunn can do about it now. Still less that Delia Smith can do about it. Blocked by Solly. Happens corner. Right back across the face and in. And Norwich have something to cheer them on what may be their darkest day. Alan Lee got a touch right on the line and would appear to be claiming it. Some of those smiles are a mite right, but it is Lee's goal, and it means Norwich need only 3 more. Well, even as the Norwich City supporters enjoy their half-time beer in the sunshine, the state of affairs worsens for them. Another goal at home park, and one about which they didn't really want to hear.
No question, Barnsley on the better side at the moment. Played in towards Macken, shadowed by Barker. He's done really well, Macken, and laid off for Campbell Rice. That could just be the goal that confirms Barnsley's championship status. Scored by the Jamaican and made brilliantly by Macken.
Sam's after it. He's got away from this man. Lloyd Sam. Burton! Hat-trick! That's the way to end your season. Dion Burton, who had scored twice for Charlton before today, has scored 3 goals on the day. And Charlton are 4-1 to the good. Smashing work from Lloyd Sam. And not a bad finish as he tumbled from Dion Burton. As he went to ground, he wrapped his right foot around it. Lappin. Free kick in favour of McDonald, foul by Hudson. Sammy Clingan. What a terrific goal! What an absolutely terrific goal from Sammy Clingan. Almost certainly in vain. But it's a happy memory to take out of a miserable day for him and for those who have followed Norwich here. Peach of a free kick. And it's 4-2. So that, for Norwich, is that 4 years after they dropped out of the Premier League under Brian Gunn, they drop out of the Championship too, and for the first time since 1960, Norwich City, overseen by Delia Smith, and their bright, loyal, large and noisy support will have to witness week-by-week football at the 3rd tier of the English game. Charlton are going down 2 despite a hat-trick from Dion Burton on the day. And Brian Gunn is insistent that the players should go and thank the supporters for coming such a long way for such a painful day. And all of that means that the news for Barnsley down at Plymouth is grand news. They needn't have worried, as it turned out. Simon Davies' Yorkshire Warriors had already done enough, and they have done more today. It is Norwich who follows Southampton and Charlton down into League One.
I've just said to the players there, that's the worst experience, or one of the worst experiences as a football player you'll ever have. That, and the day they tell you you're no longer fit enough to play football. So I've told them to go away in the summer and have a good think about what they've contributed to this season. Gut-wrenching is probably the best word to use today.
We just feel deeply, deeply sorry. We're hurting. It means everything to us, and we feel very bad for our supporters because they are the real Norwich City Football Club, not us.
I'm proud of every player, and it was important that we stayed in this division. I always believed, and I said for the last 6 to 8 weeks, that we would stay in this division, and that's what we've done. And every one of those players, from the first minute, all 16 players that were involved today, and the players that we've left behind, have been magnificent and contributed.
Now, Burnley, Cardiff and Preston were all hoping this wouldn't be the last day of their season. We'll find out who plays on in the playoffs next and look back at a day of highs and lows in League One. Now, last week's late win for Alan Irvine's Preston at Birmingham kept the Lily-Whites in the playoff picture. It also gave them a chance to spoil the top 6 hopes of local rivals Burnley, while Cardiff were also in with a strong shout of a playoff place. 3-2 then. Here's what happened.
27.5 miles have always divided Burnley and Preston. 2 points separated them at kick-off on final day. Could both use home advantage at Cardiff's expense, while the Welsh side toiled on the other side of the Pennines. Playing catch-up eased the equation for Preston, beat QPR and Hope. Late in the first half they struck first. John Parkin's poach saw the white side of Lancashire steal a march on their neighbours, but not for long. Burnley's slip below the playoff dotted line lasted just 5 minutes before Wade Elliott was barged over by Bristol City's Jamie McAllister. And Graham Alexander, more than 8 years a Preston player earlier in his career, did what he does with a penalty kick. And before half-time, Burnley had all but sealed their own fate. Stephen Caldwell's header dispatched by Elliott. This 3-horse race had a clear pace-setter. Now it was Cardiff who needed to respond at Sheffield Wednesday. Roger Johnson did just that, his misfortune more than matched by Darren Pearce. Into the second half, and Welsh worries eased by another Preston old boy in no mood for favours. Patrick Agyemang fired Rangers level at Deepdale, and Cardiff's grip on the final playoff spot grew a little tighter. Even going behind at Hillsborough didn't break it, but Jermaine Johnson's superb strike for Wednesday sparked Cardiff's anxiety. A mood deepened beyond measure by the next update from Lancashire. Sean St Ledger changing the story again. Preston back in front, and now Cardiff in fall guy mode. Points level, goal difference level, Preston ahead by 1 goal scored. Amid the chaos, serenity of sorts from Burnley. Playoff position assured thanks to Bradley Orr's comical handball. And another example of Alexander's technique from the spot. His 9th penalty of the season and 65th of his career. Still time for a difficult task to look very easy when Joey Gudjonsson added a 4th late on. By then, the Burnley party was in full swing. But celebration was almost stalled for good down the road in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. Darren Carter spared Preston the cruel final twist, and seconds later it was all over by the narrowest possible margin. 12 points from the last 12 had done it for Preston. 1 point in the same period had cost Cardiff dear. Heartache for South Wales, a North-West double which could result in a joint day out at Wembley. Preston meet Sheffield United starting at Deepdale on Friday. A day later, Burnley's very long season continues at home to Reading.
I think it's 58 games now already. We've used the fewest amount of players in the Championship. So we don't have quantity in terms of players, but what we do have, undoubtedly, we have quality. And they've shown that then today again. And if they can go and replicate that in both games against Reading, that will serve as well.
2 goals. It was my twins' birthday today. They're 10 years old today, and they asked for a goal each. So hopefully they'll be happy with me tonight.
They're a fantastic bunch of lads. They're very receptive to everything that we work on. Very honest professionals and great workers, and they're getting the rewards for hard work that they've put in since last July.
Something that hits you hard, but you have to be strong. We all get knocks in our lives. I've had plenty of knocks in my life, whether it be in football or outside, And the only one way you can do it is come out fighting. And if this lot here want to come out fighting, then they'll stay. The ones that don't will go.
Roy Keane's first